Okay, now we're back in Connecticut. This is 1967, I think. This movie was shot before my mom died. That's Aunt Marion. She hasn't changed. Aunt Ida. You can see how she looked 10 years prior to the shot we took in Sarasota. And there's Florence Frank. She was suffering from cancer at that point, and they were taking her out for a ride. This might have been a trip down to Florida. My dad might have driven down with Marion to see Ida and Ed. Hi, Florence. My dad must have taken these movies and he sent them to me recently. So, well, that's it.
Look, one hand.
This is, put that on hold for a while. This is West Point Military Academy. Mark, you may go here someday, you never know. What do you think, Mark? You might go to West Point? There's Fulke and Marky Boy. Standing in front of one of the many memorial statues and markers they have all around this upstate New York area, as they call it. It's only about an hour from White Plains, probably 2.5 hours from Wtby, Connecticut. I was on White Plains on business, going to Joel and Judy's son's Mark Frank's BarMitzvah. We didn't know there was another Mark Frank in the family till we got this invitation. Not very close with my cousin Joel or Regina. Those are my Uncle George and Aunt Mary's kids. Police car doing the tour around the area there. It's not very clear either. Scenes around the West Point Park. Very green and beautiful countryside. Douglas MacArthur was the superintendent before World War II here. Beautiful stained glass windows in the cathedral. Many military weddings are performed, ceremonies are performed at this place. Buildings. It's West Point. Hi, Marky Boy. You having a good old time there? That looks good. I don't know what he's got there. He's got something. Oh, and there's Grampy Frank. And Fulke. And Marky Boy, checking out what's happening with the Grumps. Getting into the car. Where you going, Grumps? He says, let's go, let's do it. Well, this is in New Haven, Connecticut at the apartment there. Forget the name of that place. What was that, Dad? Ruth's apartment. They moved after Stevenson Road. I think Dad lent me his Cadillac for a couple days, and we drove to Wtby with that. I don't know if we stayed with him or not. Going into Wtby for the bar mitzvah now, I think, waiting for Grammy Ruth to come out. There's the Grumps getting in the car again. That was Natalie Shane. Natalie and Ray were babysitting for Mark while we went to the bar mitzvah. And there's another one of the sisters. No, that's Natalie Shane there. Karen stayed with them too, as I recall. We had a funny visit with Karen. And there's Aunt Marion. I think we're going back to Aunt Marion's house now. Grammy Ruth with Marky Boy. Pretty dress Fulke had on. There's the house at 160 Cook Street. We never used that entrance. There's Leo Hendler, Regina's husband. There's Regina and her daughter Karen. Uncle Sid. He passed away in November of last year, 86, I think it was. I saw him in November. I think he died in about January of 87. Saw him a couple weeks before, or a month before he died. There's Shelley Belly. Shelley Baker. And Sid and Landa. Happy grandparents. That must be Leo's daughter, because Shelley didn't have kids at that time, I think. She had just gotten married. Andy Baker lived with Jimmy for a while he was going to school in Boston. And there's the GBF and his cousin Regina. Regina Frank Hendler. She's about 3 or 4 months younger than I am, I think. So our mothers were pregnant about the same time. And there's Uncle Mike with Marky Boy and a koala bear. That's funny. We got a koala bear I got from Australia recently for Mark. There's one of Uncle Mike's dogs. He always had wonderful dogs. Real nice disposition. Grampy Frank going down. I know what it feels like now, Dad. My knees feel the same way. Except you were 70 at that time. I got a ways to go yet. Yeah, Marky. Looking good. With your Uncle Mike, he hasn't changed at all. He looks the same today as he did 9 years ago, and he looked the same 10 years before that. Look at all that hair on GBF waving in the wind. Proud daddy with his little... Whoop, what are you doing to me, Dad? Get those things out of my face. I can't see what's happening here. I want to see the world as it is. Well, how are things, Uncle Mike? Well, they're okay. Well, then we drove down with Dad to the Battery Park in New York. We had a picnic right under that tree. Watched the ferry boats pull out to the Statue of Liberty. We were going to take Marky to the Statue of Liberty, but it got a little bit late, and Dad drove us to the airport, to LaGuardia, take us back to Atlanta. I think we had some fantastic $99 round-trip tickets or something. It's a little out of focus here. You get a little out of focus when you take the movies, and they really magnify that out of focus situation when you tape record them. Very critical to have. I can't get it in focus there. That's better. Might have been a filter problem too. Hi, Mark. On the grass there. Splendor in the grass. There's his rocking motion. He used to do that all the time. Put himself to sleep, getting the muscles ready to crawl, and he's going to walk. What a guy. What a guy, Marky Boy. On his hands and knees. So proud of himself, big smile on his face. We brought along some food.